In here.
New shirt?
I think so. Yeah. All right. Thinks we're live, Nina.
Sweet. Good morning, everyone, and happy Thursday, 11 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Just want to say welcome to the Scaling Leans Weekly Live. You have Jonathan Ploransky and Nina Brennan here to share with you the tidbits of sustainable scaling in the online industry. This could even apply to offline with what we're talking about today. But we're just the co-founders of Scaling Lean, and every week we go live with wins, losses, successes, and failures that we've experienced in terms of marketing. We're here to bring just radical transparency to the online industry, just raw and real feedback that we're seeing on the daily, weekly, quarterly, and yearly basis. And today what we're going to talk about is 3 critical mistakes we see in the marketing process. And this goes for people that are in the online space, people that are marketing local businesses. And what we're going to talk about today is number 1, not following up with leads and how you can start implementing strategies to do it correctly. Whether you're posting on social media or not, and not having the means to an end, meaning what is the point of what you're doing on the everyday basis in terms of marketing, and not automating your marketing and sales process. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to you, JP, and we can dive right in.
Yeah, baby, let's go. Freaking awesome Thursday starting off here in Scottsdale, Arizona. A lot of amazing things happen right now. A lot of energy. We're building into the live event here at Scaling Lean at the end of the month. So it's good. I'm looking forward to meeting some clients here soon, man, a lot of things are just building, a lot of momentum. So super happy to be here. Drop any comments in the chat box. I see Jim Lupkins joining us. Good to see you too, man. It has been a while, so maybe we should connect over a call one of these days. But yeah, drop any comments, questions below. We got a great topic today. Let us know where you're tuning in from and let's hop in.
Yeah, absolutely. So something that I talked about this like earlier this week was I went to a coffee shop, right? And I'm going to tell a little story here. Let me open my Facebook real quick so I can get the story right of everything that happened while I was sitting at this coffee shop. So I cut back on coffee, by the way, everyone. I'm about 4 months of no decaf. Let's go, except one day, and then I had a panic attack because of it. But I was at a coffee shop the other day to get myself a little treat, and I looked up at the bulletin board as I was waiting for the barista to make my coffee that I ordered. And I always do this, whether it's down here in Boulder or up in Longmont or down in Denver, whatever coffee shop or bulletin board at like the workspace that I'm at, I kind of just take a look at what's going on because I really do enjoy when local people or local business owners are putting their names out there and trying to get business. But what I've been doing recently, especially now that we're doing a lot of direct outreach with businesses that we're, trying to get on board with Conversion Pro, is I called and so there's barcodes and then there's like poll numbers and then there's just like business cards. So what I did was I spent a good like half hour. I took a screenshot of the board with my phone or just a photo of the board with my phone and I connected with the QR codes and I called the numbers that I saw on the phone and barely anybody answered and barely anyone got back to me. And the reason that this was such an eye-opening experience was because these are anyone making between like 0 and 10K a month, and some people probably making over 10, 20, $30,000 a month, putting their names out there, very similar to the way that we do this on social media as online business owners. And oh, can you still see me?
You're good.
Okay, my light went out. So something that dawned on me was like a lot of us post aimlessly on social media, but there's not a follow-up process or kind of thought process behind the marketing, quote unquote, marketing strategy that we really put out there. And I want to really talk about today of like the crucial mistakes inside of the automated side of business that could really just like be costing tens of thousands of dollars and a lot of conversions. So that's where we're going to start, JP.
Perfect. Yeah, I know we were riffing back and forth, after you had that experience there. So this is perfect for service providers that maybe are working more in the brick and mortar side that aren't really plugged into the internet or social media and how to interact with folks online. Or this can be for coaches, experts, consultants online that could definitely use some more leads locally, right? And this epiphany kind of happened the other day, Nina, right? And we're like, man, there's probably like this huge untapped market where we can help bridge the gap between people that are working offline and need more influence online, and then folks that are online with amazing marketing skills, amazing content creation, just helping them really create more impact locally in the places that they're visiting, like coffee shops, grocery stores, just by creating a simple, what you can break out the name, but I think you call it the bulletin board method, right, Nina?
Yeah, and it dawned on me also because like we go to a lot of networking events as well. And I went to a networking event last night. It was like Denver Entrepreneur through Acquisition Meetup. Amazing community. And something that I noticed is like when people are exchanging numbers, they just give the number. And a lot of times, like I'll always, 100% of the time, when somebody gives me their number, I follow up with them. And if I give my number to somebody, a lot of times I don't get a text and there's no way to contact those people. So something that I noticed, it's like whether you're at a networking event or a coffee shop or just in like local events, because like I feel like we talked about this, online business owners feel like they could only make or just land clients from the online space, and local business owners feel like they could only land clients through like marketing locally, referrals, etc. We kind of want to like showcase that like there's opportunity no matter where you go. Like you should be just like a walking marketer. You shouldn't have to sell to everyone, but you should definitely be able to pitch, tell, and kind of connect people with your product and service no matter where you are. So what we're working on, slash like what we're doing, is here's a QR code. Like just scan this QR code, insert your number, and they populate inside of the CRM. And there's automated workflows on the back of it introducing yourself again, saying it was great to meet, etc. And then there's like every 2 weeks there's a sequence of kind of just like touch points with people that you network with to kind of keep your name front of mind no matter what. It's not even selling, it's just reminding people who you are and what you do. And so many people don't follow up and people forget about who you are. And the whole idea behind marketing is just being remembered.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of like that front shop, back shop, like marketing versus sales. Like I used to work at a car dealership, right? So it was like always like the mechanics were fighting against the salespeople in the front end. There's like this wall between the departments, right? So it's kind of like that with online marketing and like people that are in brick and mortars, like they don't bridge the gap. And it's kind of like this front shop, back shop theory, right? Where they're kind of like, oh, I'm just going to find people at local networking events. And then folks that are online with online businesses like us, we're just like, they're just in the grind. Oh, we got to find new ways to generate leads through Facebook ads or organic reach out. And it's like, what about just tapping into your local market? Like there's so much opportunity there. People like that one-to-one interaction. They're going to convert a lot faster. And even if they don't, you can just have the ability to network locally and, have a group started, right? And just provide value, which will help make your product better because you're going to get more feedback. Yeah, I totally love that concept. And what's so amazing about it and what Nina figured out and kind of what we're learning is there's like an amazing feature inside of Conversion Pro that you can create a QR code, like Nina was mentioning there, and it really just you scan it with your phone and then you can create automated sequences behind it, right? So this can not only help with lead generation, can also help with reviews, right? So say you have a brick and mortar location, contractor, whatever it is, you have a pamphlet on your desk when the person comes to you, or you see them at the job site. Hey, would you mind like dropping me a quick review? You know what I mean? Like, because reputation management is also a side of this too, Nina, right? Like just have a one-page document or even just a quick like business card with that QR code on it. And then boom, like now you're getting reviews, now you're getting new leads, like automatically just coming into your ecosystem, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm in conversation right now with a coffee shop business owner here locally in Boulder. I go to this coffee shop at least once a week. It's my favorite. If you are out in Boulder, Colorado, go to Trident Coffee Shop, shout out them. But I go there all the time. And it's a bookstore and it's a coffee shop. It's very unique. It's a lot of seating, outdoor, indoor seating. And I said to the barista, I was like, have you guys ever considered, because they have a lot of great reviews, right? I think they have over 500 reviews. But there's hundreds of people that pass by this coffee shop every single day. I was like, what if you guys just put like a quick QR code for like leave a review for a potential 1 month free of coffee or like a $50 gift card? You know how many people will leave a review for that chance of free something free in exchange for like a 2 minute leaving a testimonial or a review on Google? Their reviews will skyrocket and it will literally cost them $50 to like give a gift card. And that for local businesses is tremendous because if you have more Google reviews, then you're going to have higher stake in the SEO game. Which I know like we're not really SEO people, but like talking to local businesses and networking around the towns that we're in, you in Scottsdale, me in Boulder, Denver, and Longmont area, it's like there's a lot of opportunity for quick automation with follow-up and everything that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, absolutely love that. Yeah. Um, So not to derail us too much, Nina, I know the topic of this live is the 3 critical mistakes we see in, marketing, right? So why don't we kind of transition into this new epiphany and idea and how it can be implemented into those like 3 big mistakes, right? And I'll hop in with the first one that we listed here. It's really just not following up with your leads, right? That's like probably got to be it's got to be the number one, right? People acquire leads, whether that's through a DM, through a Facebook ad, locally, with a customer visiting your storefront, and they're just simply not following up with them at all, or even getting the information from them, right?
Absolutely. And this goes for both inbound and outbound inquiries. So whether you are someone who has like a list of leads and you're doing outbound, or you have like paid advertising rolling, SEO rolling, referral marketing, whatever it is, where people find your website or your funnel and they opt in, there's so much opportunity. And I feel like a lot of times people don't follow up with leads because of the lack of instant gratification that comes with doing so. And let's speak from first outbound and then we'll speak from inbound perspective, because 2 different workflows, 2 different pipelines, etc. So you're doing outbound marketing, you have a list of leads, maybe there's 1,000 people. You're going to probably spend a good majority of like 90 minutes a day calling 15, 20 people, maybe even more than that, maybe even less, depending on how many people you get through to. Not everyone's going to answer. And I feel like people do like the one and done kind of mentality when it comes to sales and marketing, because it takes time and effort. But at the end of the day, it takes really like 15, 21 touch points even to get through to somebody. And then to actually get them to hear you and convert and even get on the phone, it's going to take a little bit longer of a process. And I feel like a lot of people don't have the time, tenacity, or spend to hire somebody to do this kind of work. And in terms of inbound leads, like I've been on a roll, JP, reaching out to local businesses and just like anyone who's doing anywhere between like 20 and $50,000 a month. There's a lot of local businesses out there that you call and they don't answer. And I know this company that's making over $100,000 a month locally here in Boulder. They were the only people, I think they're making about 500 grand a month. They're the only people out of like the 100+ people that I have called so far, where it's like I called, they didn't answer right away. I got an email, I got a text, and I got 2 phone calls from them, and they continuously call me back. And that's the kind of like, that was an inbound. So I was an inbound lead, and I'm doing like this research right now of like, what does the process look like for XYZ business? And no one is doing this process. So imagine you're spending money on Google ads, you're spending money on Facebook ads, or you're putting the time and effort or spending on an agency to rank your business on Google. But you don't have the follow-up process. If somebody calls your business or inquires for the business, how much money are you leaving on the table? And that's something that I want to really bring up and highlight, is simple automation can fix that.
Yeah, absolutely love that so much. And kind of like a live example that we're going through right now with the client, Tango Kombucha comes to mind, right? They're in this launch phase of an amazing product in South America, and they're hosting this live event, right? It doesn't have to be a live event, it could just be your local store. But what we're doing is equipping them with a sales letter, essentially like a flyer, to enroll in their follow-up process, right? And this will allow them to send out coupons and also just research, like even do like a quick touch point call, like you said there, like, hey, like, what is it that we could do better? Or like, what is it that you like about our product? There's so much that can come from this. And I know as we get through here, there's another bullet point that this will definitely highlight more, and but it's just so important. And I totally resonate with how many times I've been on a website, I've visited a place, I've given them my information, I've never heard from them ever again, right? And it's like, at least collect the information. And even if you just send out a monthly newsletter, just keep the folks in awareness. And then when you do go into a selling season inside of your business, whether that's around the holidays or around the like spring event, if you're like maybe in real estate, you could do a spring event or an open house, right? At least you have that pool of leads that you can tap into and just poke a little bit and say, hey, like, we're doing this thing. It was awesome meeting you. It's been a while, but like, let's reconnect.
Yeah. And what's so interesting too is like everything that we're talking about today, JP, it's nothing about this is a new concept. Even to scaling lean/conversion pro, it's not a new concept. It's just blaringly obvious the amount of business owners that are just not utilizing the tools that are out there. And I think that's something that we really want to bring up is like leverage the tools that are at your disposal, literally for pennies, pennies, pennies. I'm talking about simple automation can make you a lot of money. And I really loved how you brought up Tango Kombucha of like what we're working on. Maybe we'll bring that to light next week of like how we're going about it and why we're going about it the way that we are. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love how you brought up simple automation. And that's, man, we keep hearing that over and over again. Even I'm actually putting a training together right now for the school community because like folks are like, I don't know how to build simple automation. It's like, it's really 4 words that you need to know.
Mhm.
Um, and it's if this or that. If you want to know more about that, hop in the school community. There'll be a full on like 20-30 minute training on it. But anyway, those simple automations that take an hour or two to build when you have the right framework, they can literally change your business forever. Not getting too deep in the weeds there. So let's hop into the second biggest marketing mistake that we see with new clients enrolling and also after working with like hundreds of businesses at this point. So the thing that we really see is posting meaninglessly, right? Like, and what we mean by that is like not getting enough feedback and or just continuously doing the same thing over and really maybe not getting the result that you desire or generating leads from that or generating calls from that or obviously generating business is like the ultimate outcome. So let's talk to that a bit, Nina, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. And I always like to bring tangible experiences because I feel like we could talk about it till the cows come home and just like, oh, just don't post aimlessly on social media. But let's talk about our own experience with this. You and I, and like our whole experience since meeting 3.5 years ago, give or take 3 years ago, you and I were both posting. You were blogging. I was posting, and I think you were too, 3 to 5 times a day on TikTok. We were posting in our Facebook group. We were posting on our Facebook personal channel. We were posting on, I don't know if you were on Pinterest. I was on Pinterest. Barely ever opened the app, but I was posting anyway. Sometimes posting on Instagram because it was like something that we were told that we should be doing from these social media gurus. Posting on LinkedIn with automated outbound and destroying our reputation in our account while doing DMs. And there was no rhyme or reason as to the amount of effort that we were putting into content without having like a strategy to convert the people that we were trying to reach. So we were spending, I don't want to speak for you, like I'm sure you could put a timestamp on it. I was spending like 3 to 5 hours a day just on social media alone, like crafting content for our business without it having like a return. And I kind of felt like looking back now, it's like we were screaming into like the air for no one to hear. And like, yeah, some people heard and like piqued interest, but there wasn't any like tangible conversions. It was like, oh, maybe this person was watching me for 2 years. Maybe they were watching me for 6 months. Maybe they just found me and they converted. But it was like getting enough attention that we're like, yes, it's working. But it wasn't like, this is the strategy that's scaling our business. So it was unpredictable. And it was like, sometimes the messaging would hit, sometimes it wouldn't. And we were just like stuck on this content hamster wheel slash like posting schedule that wasn't really yielding the results that it could have if we had like a laser focused strategy. And I feel like it's very similar to like these bullets. And also there was no automation behind it. So it was like, someone commented on my TikTok, maybe the TikTok went viral. We were having virtual assistants on there trying to like follow up with everyone, accounts getting dinged, DMs getting dinged, and it was like chaotic mess sometimes, to be honest with you. Whereas like simple automation on the back end, like if someone commented on a post, we could have had to like automatically like send out information that they were seeking. So time was wasted, effort was wasted, and a lot of leads were lost. So I'm gonna pass it over to you after I just went on that long rant.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, Nina. Like just overall marketing on the front end of Facebook algorithm, TikTok, no matter what platform you're on, it'll literally eat as much content as you give it, right? And it's up to us to maximize the reach that we have because, I mean, each of us that post daily, I would probably say you're at least reaching 50 to 250 people. If you're at least putting in that daily action, that's a lot of eyes if you think about it. Like for me personally, I'm from a small town. I only had 250 people or less. I think it was like 235 in my graduating class. So that means like every single, like, that's a lot of people, a lot of impact. You only really need 1,000 people to grow a business to 500 to $1 million, right? It doesn't really take a lot. We've seen it numerous times, Nina, right? Like, um, I mean, Eric, he had like what, 750 affiliates inside of his business. So that was about 750 clients. He crossed the 1 million mark. So it's amazing how, with the right process and with the right follow-up systems, way to capture that information and really nurture properly, like, it really, how much you really don't need, honestly. Like, you can take a very small, you don't need this big viral account. And we've proved it time and time again. You just need to put that daily consistent action in with the right message that you're continuously learning about and adapting and iterating over time based on feedback. So
Yeah.
100% on that. I love that.
Yeah, and I never want to take away, like, any attention is good attention. And whether you are viral on social media, like vanity metrics, we could always knock them because like you don't need vanity metrics in order to scale a business. But a lot of times people will look at them and be like, oh, this is like a legit person. That's why people buy followers and stuff like that. So we're not saying don't post on social media. You don't have to if you want to run a business, paid advertising, SEO. There's ways that you can go about it without being like the social media person. Um, but whether you're doing social media or whether you're, writing blogs, which is still content and trying to rank for SEO, or running paid advertising too, like make sure there's a means to an end. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? Is this post going to be the awareness post? Is it going to be a nurturing post? Is it going to be a conversion post? If it is a nurturing and a conversion post, like what's the process behind it to get people to actually move down the pipeline, maybe onto a phone call, maybe to a checkout page, excuse me, etc. And this comes back to what we were calling the bulletin board method that we're going to come out with a free training. We're still working on it. But it's like, even if you are like a local business that's pin posting your post on a bulletin board, what is the means to the end of your marketing process? Like, what is the point of you going out and posting this post on the bulletin board or social media? Is there a way for your leads to actually get in touch with you, hear from you, understand who you are and what you do in its entirety, and actually convert? And if there's not, maybe there's room for improvement inside of that conversion and sales process.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, before we move on to the third biggest marketing mistake, drop a comment below. Let us know, what is your biggest weakness out of the two that we've released so far? Is it not following up with your leads, or is it posting endlessly or meaninglessly to your leads, meaning you're not really gaining that momentum that you desire when you're putting those daily posts out, and you're getting that reach, right? So now that we've got through that, Nina, let's push into the last one here. Last but not certainly not least, right, is really what we identified is either lack of good follow-up before the call, person gets on the call, or simply no automated follow-up for your call scheduled workflow. This is a huge one, and this, we could probably spend, wow, probably like the better part of 30 minutes on just this one, right, Nina? But let's do a high level view here of like what we've found with the scaling, like with scaling lean, and like what we implement inside of that, like a little glimpse inside, not going too deep because we love this workflow. But let's hop into that.
Yeah. And do you mind me sharing what actually inspired me for this bullet point?
Yeah, let's serve it.
Okay. So I know that we work primarily with people in the online space, but a couple of times I see marketing everywhere. I feel like, especially stepping deeper into Conversion Pro and like all the workflow automations and just like, what can I automate in the marketing process for us and our clients, right? A couple of weeks ago, I think I told you this story, JP, because I was just like, I can't believe I missed an appointment because I'm pretty crucial of like, I don't miss anything if it's on my calendar. Like, I look at my calendar daily, I look at it weekly, I schedule my stuff out, and that's like how it goes. I went to the gym and I go to 24-hour fitness. It's not, it's a regular gym, but they were offering like free. I was looking for a nutritionist and a fitness trainer. They were offering like free fitness training sessions, and I know somebody who used this girl, Chelsea. So I was like, heck yeah, like recommendation, referral marketing. I'm gonna do it. Chelsea's my girl. So I went to the gym and I was like, oh, like, can I book it at home? They're like, oh, you're better off booking it here. So I had the guy behind the desk book it in for me on Monday. And I gave them my Gmail account that I use for my calendar so it would block out the space. He booked it for me. It didn't populate my calendar, and I didn't get any like workflow reminders of like emails and text messages of like show up to the appointment that we booked, right? And my fault, like I could have put it on my calendar, but like as like a business owner, I just kind of expected it to populate my calendar the way that ours do, our
Mhm.
appointments do, and I missed the appointment. And like that's not fair to the person that I'm now wasting their time to show up at the gym. And like a simple automated text and reminder, like I go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. So it's like if it was on my calendar, like I would have been there. I think I went to the gym earlier that day, and then like the next day I was like, oh shit, I think I had an appointment yesterday. And then the second story, same thing happened. Like I'm going around town right now looking for like different workspaces, like co-working spaces. And I booked an appointment on last Thursday, and I had to call that morning of because I forgot because it never populated my calendar and there were no appointment reminders. So I like called the lady. I was like, "Hey, I totally forgot. Like I have calls this afternoon. I can't do XYZ." And like simple reminders and appointment reminders, whether you're an online business owner showing up for a sales call or like, a fitness person or like showing an environment of like, a co-working space, it definitely matters because that's part of the conversion process.
Yeah, absolutely. Love those real life stories there, Nina. I think going a little deeper, I think really the secret sauce that we've identified here at Scaling Lean is really injecting stories into our call schedule follow-up process.
Mhm.
Because ultimately stories sell. Your brand sells. People buy from you. They don't buy your product or service. If you're buying like a watch or something, that's a different story. But products and services, they're really buying you, right? So ultimately, what we've really identified here at Scaling Lean is a very strategic cadence. It's not really rocket science. It's a confirmation 24-hour before, 1 hour before, and we're hitting and showing our story, what we're doing with our inside of our business, and also showcasing case studies and testimonials inside of those sequences to really get the folks up to speed in what we're doing, getting that buy-in, showing them our authentic story and version. Because storytelling is definitely by far, I mean, if you don't follow Russell Brunson or Dan Kennedy or any of the greats, like that's definitely the thing that sells these days, right? So just wanted to put that little tidbit. And, like I said, we could probably spend an entire live just on the call schedule workflow, as we probably have done in the past. But that's definitely a huge, big problem that we identified. It's just no follow up, or just maybe it could definitely be enhanced, right? Usually everyone's can be enhanced a bit.
Yeah. And I love how you say people are buying you. At the end of the day, like the you doesn't have to be you as a personal brand. It can be you as a business. And I like the perfect example. It's like, let's bring just like a brand into it because like a lot of people in the online space, they build personal brands and then they feel stuck to their business and like they constantly have to be inside of their business in order to scale. And a perfect example is like Nike. I used to be super bought into the brand. I was a student athlete growing up straight through college, and all I cared about was like I want Nike cleats, I want Nike this, and then I was like we were sponsored by Nike, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it was like I didn't think about it until like all these like big stories came out later on of like, not like if you like Nike, no big deal, but like the sweatshops and like the unfair working conditions and like they're too political and there's like they're getting into too much where I'm just like, the brand is causing way too much controversy for me to be bought in the way I was when I was younger. And like their story of like, just do it, athlete, 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 athlete. When I was like an athlete and it's all I thought about, that's all I wanted. But then when I was looking at the ethical side of the business and how like their words and their marketing doesn't meet their actual operations, I no longer buy into Nike as a brand. I know that
Hmm.
sounds pretty weird, but it's like the story and the brand story and the values, it's all part of that brand, and you should tell that inside of the marketing material that you put out.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. That's a huge brand there. So people definitely know that one, but for us small creators, right? Or
Yeah.
small business owners, it's a little more important, 100%.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Nina. So for those of you that tuned in a bit late, we just went over the 3 critical mistakes that we see in marketing after working with hundreds of business owners inside our agency. And we spoke about not following up with your leads, posting meaninglessly, or not automating the book call process. Which one of those is your biggest uh, bottleneck, I'd say, or biggest things that you could work on this quarter coming into October, Q4, major buying season, right? So you want to have these things lined up to capitalize on that time because it only comes around once a year. With that being said, I don't really have too much more on my end. So if you want to take us out, we talked about a couple different things, and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. For anyone who is watching this and you don't have automated processes built inside of your business, we have very simple workflows that are already pre-built inside of Conversion Pro. All it is a couple of clicks. Our team will get you up and running and set up in no time. It's a one-on-one consultation with our team to really get you moving. The software itself is only $97 a month. You can build websites, you could have all the funnels, you could have all the SMS and email workflows behind it, and you could just really market or have a robust marketing system behind every single thing that you do. Everything we talked about today about following up with leads and segmenting your lists, talking about having a means to an end on social media and automating that process with, appointment reminders, etc. Super crucial to the marketing platform. So if it is something that you're interested in to really just getting our workflows that are pre-built and proven, comment hashtag conversion pro below and we'll send it over to you. There's a 30-day free trial. You could get in there. If you don't like it, no hard feelings. We'll help you escape it as fast as you joined it. So with that being said, we'll see you next week at 11 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. And actually, we might not. We're going to be in Vegas. So maybe we'll do a live on Tuesday or Friday, but we're going to.
Man, September is going to be an awesome month here at Scaling Lean. We were invited to this event called Secret Knock. Real quick, Nina, just because this is freaking awesome. The event is hosted by Dr. Greg Reed. For those of you who don't know him, he is the author of 3 Feet from Gold, so major player in the space. There's only 200 people invited to this event, and they do it twice a year. We got invited. Obviously, we had to pay, so it wasn't like we did have to pay to enter, but it's not marketed. Like, it's a very inclusive event in Las Vegas, and Nina and I are going to that. So stay tuned for some awesome content, potentially some amazing interviews, because we're going to be meeting some really cool people. People from Silicon Valley have gone to this event, like major hitters in the space. So we're going to be bringing that to you, along with the live event at the end of the month, man. It's going to be an awesome September, right? Sweet.
Yeah, and a couple of cool things coming up for the end of the year. So we'll keep you guys updated. If you are part of Conversion Pro, you'll actually get a free ticket to our event as well at the end of September if you want to join us in Scottsdale, where we're doing hands-on group sessions, very small event with our clients. So if you're part of our community and our circle, come on down. We'll more than welcome to have you.
Yeah, for sure. That being said, thanks y'all for tuning in. We'll catch you next week.
Bye, everyone.